Uh, Welcome to Finding Your Genius, a powerful interview series brought to you by the Tribe, a Melanated Rose Community. In this series, we explore the journeys of everyday melanated individuals who have tapped into their inner brilliance, overcome obstacles, and stepped into their power. Today, we're joined by Richard Bowling, who is the MicroPod Global founder, the world's only performance environment that helps mid-career engineers launch startups. We're going to dive into his personal stories of growth, resilience, and genius. Thank you for joining me today, Richard.
Awesome to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with the very first question, which is the main question. Tell us, what is your genius?
I would say my genius is transformational coaching. My life's passion for many years was table tennis, but that passion for table tennis is now transferred into helping engineers to get started on the journey of becoming entrepreneurs. So I've been doing that, coaching professionally for actually almost 7 years, but 5 of those years is specifically working just with engineers, getting their feet started in becoming entrepreneurs. We've worked with about 30 different clients. About a third of those are full-time entrepreneurs right now, and it's just an exciting journey. So that's my I'm passionate about it. I enjoy getting on the calls every day.
Well, in full transparency, you've been one of my greatest mentors. I do enjoy the fact that you've always been available to me whenever I've had questions, even outside of a functional meeting process. So, thank you for that. When did you realize you had a special skill or calling?
I think it started back in the 2000s. When I left my engineering career in 2000, I started this path of personal development, going to workshops, training, and that's when I started learning about coaching. And I said, you know what? I want to be a coach. And this was in 2002. I want to be a coach someday. And then in 2014, I put my business card out there. Couldn't get any clients, didn't have confidence to it. But I was still practicing coaching. It was in my heart, it was in my veins, it was in my spirit. I actually, even though I wasn't doing coaching as far as a life coach, I was actually a table tennis coach for 6 years. So I was coaching, and I was actually a teacher from back in graduate school. So I taught back in graduate school. I was a table tennis coach, but I really wanted to get into, I thought it was going to be life coaching, put my business card out there. Nothing really triggered. In 2019, I was working as a product manager in a big company, and people were coming. I was managing other people, and not just the people that I was managing was coming to my office, but everybody else was coming into my office. I said, why does everybody keep coming into my office looking for help? And the person says, well, everybody says that you're the person to talk to with our issues. They didn't go to the CEO, they didn't go to the senior vice president or the HR, anybody else. They came to my office because they said that everybody says in the office, you're the person. And so that was the tipping point in 2019 that said, okay, this is a sign that I should be starting with my coaching business. So in 2019, I became a full-time professional coach. When I started coaching people in their career and business. It's kind of a general purpose life coach, business coach, career coach. And then when I started working with the training program, we got it more niched down into specifically helping engineers.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So I know one of the things that anyone starting out on that journey, either entrepreneurial or anything in particular, there's always a major obstacle that challenges them, that challenges your belief in yourself. Did you have any? And if you did, how did you overcome it?
Challenges believe in yourself. But I guess from the coaching standpoint, the challenge was that if I had a feeling that I could do it. But I think that everyone has imposter syndrome when you're trying to do something that's outside of your normal skill set. I'm trained as an engineer.
Right.
Okay, I can do engineering. I was an accomplished table tennis player, top 200 the country. I can coach table tennis, but now I want to go into life coaching and personal coaching. And I just had the confidence issues if I could actually do it. So really kind of life circumstances kind of brought me to that place of doing it. When I had all these people coming to my office. So I think the combination of the people coming to my office was the tripping point, and then at the same time I was giving lots of Toastmaster speeches, a lot of motivational speeches in that same year, 2019. Those two things are the tipping point that that got me into actually coaching. So yeah, that's kind of sort of the answer, not exactly, but
Yeah, I get that.
yeah.
So from a cultural or family background, was there anything in there that kind of shaped your journey? Like, did you grow up around, I guess, people who were successful, which kind of led you to believe that you could accomplish things in your life? Or
Well, from the engineering and business side, my father, my grandfather were very successful, so they were the role models
okay,
for success as an engineer in business. Um, but from a success standpoint as a coach, it would probably my mother was my coach.
gotcha.
She
Yeah,
was not she was more than a mom. She was supportive in a way that you cannot imagine the level of support that she gave over all the years that I was growing. Even now, she has that same level of support for family, friends, grandchildren. She's just in their business, helping them out, supporting, guiding, and so she was the role model example of going above. She's the type of person that goes above and beyond what she should be doing, and I do that with my clients. I try to go above and beyond
that's true.
with my clients in terms of that support. So she was a role model for the support and the coaching side for sure.
And here's the one of the major questions for me. Like, what daily habits or rituals help you stay aligned with your genius?
I would say just like feeling the vision of what I'm trying to create for my clients, for the business, and for my life. Just really, I actually visualize before I started. I worked with about 30 different clients, and before I actually had all these clients, this was during my business started during COVID, and when walking the halls of my apartment during COVID, I would actually visualize working with clients, getting success, feeling the feelings of transformation that I would actually embody that, and it turned to pass. When I look at my client testimonials, I have testimony that actually came true. So visualizing was a real big important practice that I do on a daily basis, along with meditation is really really important, and exercise, eating healthy, meditation, visualizing the goal, being staying emotionally in touch with your goals on a daily basis. Because what happens is most people, they just get busy doing the work. You got to
Right.
you got to do the work, but you actually got to feel what you're moving towards. You got to feel the vision of what you're trying to move towards before you get there. It's really really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. So, did you have a failure or setback that became your greatest lesson?
Um, failure setback, probably the failure setback, or it can be turning point. The biggest setback failure turning point was when I quit my engineering job in 1999. This was, it would be comparable to a six-figure income, right?
Right.
And it was kind of a bittersweet because my whole life fell apart when that happened. I made the decision to, quit my job and to become an entrepreneur, and it triggered a lot of financial problems, relationship problems. I got divorced, lost my house, finances going down, lots of business activity, but not replacing my. And it was a real transformational tipping point for me that it took kind of years to kind of coming out of that, but it
Yeah.
needed to happen. It needed to happen so that
Yes.
that failure was a part of it was, like being a butterfly, you go into a cocoon, nothing, there's no flight, there's no income, there's no or less income. Um,
Yeah.
Most people are not willing to go, and I don't recommend, even when I'm coaching my clients, I don't recommend that they quit their job and they do something that dramatic. But that's what needed to happen for me, and that was. But I honor that decision. I
Yeah.
fully, no regrets, no regrets at all. I honor that decision. So that was an
And,
important tipping point in the journey.
that seems to me to be sort of at some point, you have to decide that my old life, I can no longer exist in it, and
Right.
I have to get to this new place. But in that gap is where all the fear, self doubt is to get to the
Right.
other side. And
Oh,
so, how do
yeah.
you still deal with some of that in your when you're moving to different opportunities?
Have some of the doubt now.
And self doubt, yes.
Yeah, I still have doubts, but there's something in my brain that I've actually figured out. Like, if you have plugs in your brain, and one says doubt, and one says doubt, and one says inspiration. Like anytime I have doubts that are shooting up, that what I rewire that into the inspiration side. So the
Gotcha.
doubts are coming, but then they
Yeah.
get rerouted. So I love it when I get doubts because I get inspired. Doubts, okay, have I get inspired by my doubts, if that makes sense. And
Okay.
if you can do that, you basically become unstoppable because everyone has doubts, right? So
Yes.
doubt. Oh, I'm getting inspired. Doubts. Most people they just doubts and they stop. So for me, when I have doubts, that's like or doubts, or even when other people doubt. So when other people doubt, that's
Yes.
it's sort of like trash talking to Michael Jordan. When other people doubt me, that's like adding more fuel to the fire.
And food for the fire. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
more fuel to the fire. And it's funny that even in these years now, people question what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
I've been in Asia for 2 years, and about a year ago, I had a family. They were trying to do an intervention. They said, "Yeah, you really need to be back in the United States. What are you doing? What are you doing in Asia? You need to be in therapy."
Wow.
And I said, no, I'm on the path, and it takes a lot of courage to like walk
Yeah.
your own path, even when very logical people are in your corner trying to look out for you. And
Right.
but what they're doing is they're trying to protect you from their own fears that they're
Yes.
having too, a lot of
Absolutely.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but doubts always can come, but you
Yeah.
have to find a way to channel those into turning those around into, like, to me, I've when doubts happen, I just reroute that right into the inspiration
It's
part of my
awesome.
brain, rewire my brain in that standpoint. But yeah, they come for
But
sure.
I know that and you mentioned this a little while ago, but there are often times where either our family, friends, community that we're in plays a big role in our success. They'll either present the obstacles to you that you have to climb over because we use them as our, I hate to say the word, but our test market, right? We come up with an idea, we first hit them with it, and if they don't agree, then they'll tell you sometimes, and then you go, I need to do something else, not realizing that they may not even be your target audience.
Right.
So what you're pitching may not appeal to them at all. So what role does community and networking play in your success?
um I need to be doing more of it. That's one of the things that plays. I need to, I mean, I have friends. Let's see, I have two friends of mine, Tom and Terrence. Tom is in the California, Terrence is in Georgia, and actually Terrence was a client of mine. But
Gotcha.
we have a little networking group on chat, and we check in with each other and things like that. And that's really, really important. Have like it's like a little mindset group of people
Right.
who are entrepreneurs, creators who are out there and supporting each other. And so it's really important to be a part of some sort of mastermind like that.
Right.
Um, this is one of the chapters in Think and Go Rich, is having a mastermind team. If you look
Yes.
back at all these successful people from 100 years ago, Andrew Carnegie, Ford, and many of those other people, they were actually all in the same group. They're coming together, sharing ideas,
Yeah.
leveraging off of each other's insights and motivation. So I think it's really important to create having a mentor or a coach, also being in some sort of mastermind. Actually, when I look at the most successful people who started their business when I did, they have coaches, mentors, masterminds, business training programs. They all have this is really, really, and so that's why I said I need to be doing more.
Yes.
I've had a few coaches, and I need to be like looking for my next coach and next program next. And that's the biggest biggest mistake that I made, as I didn't quick enough going
Right.
to the next quick enough into the next thing, you know.
That's interesting. I was thinking about Elon Musk and his group who started all those businesses
Mhm.
uh, together, PayPal, obviously his vehicles and things like that. But he had that mastermind group and
Oh yeah, the PayPal Mafia.
yeah, PayPal
PayPal
Mafia. Yeah.
PayPal Mafia, right? They've all Reid Hoffman, Peter Thiel, they've all created these different billion-dollar startups over there.
They're
But yeah,
great.
it's important. It's important to have. You want to be. You want to surround. You want to spend the most time with people who are moving in the same direction as you. So
Yes.
so if you're trying to become an entrepreneur and you're hanging around people who only believe and working a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. Some people have to do it. But if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, but all you're having lunch, your family, your friends are all 9 to 5ers, they're not going to be able to tell you anything about becoming an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So you need to keep those visions really to yourself and talk to people who can understand it enough to support you to move in that direction. Because the
Yeah.
other people are just going to shoot you in the foot. Oh, that's risky. That's like someone, like, if you want to invest in the stock market, somebody keeps their money in the bank, they're gonna be like, I
Yeah.
keep my money in the bank where it's safe,
Yeah.
you know, and we know that that's the worst way to lose money, is to keep rich people don't keep their money in the bank.
Not at all. Yeah.
That money
You know,
stays invested, right? So you want to, invest your money, invest your opportunities the same way.
it's interesting. I was thinking about how messages come to us through just different people and not necessarily your direct community. I had stopped in a 7-Eleven and I saw this guy kind of hanging out in the corner. And so I come out, and of course he asked me, hey, do you have some change? And so I reached in my pocket, I was giving him $1. And he looked at me, he goes, you look like a man of substance. What do you do? And I went through this long diatribe of everything that I do. And he looked at me and he goes, oh, so you're an entrepreneur. He said, you could have saved 10 minutes of this conversation just by saying that. Right.
Oh,
And
funny.
so I get in the car and I'm thinking, I was like, well, damn, he was absolutely right. I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur.
Mhm,
But he asked me, what did I do? Right. And so I'm listing out,
mhm.
I write books and I do this and I do that. And he goes, so you're an entrepreneur. He said, you could have just saved 10 minutes of our time just discussing that. And I thought that was fascinating. So I got the message, and it
Right.
does change the way you think about things, when you do that. And so, like,
Mhm.
do you define success today the same way you did when you started?
When I started, what started
You
when?
started out on your own journey when you sold, let's say when you started out your coaching journey.
Um, I think I did when I started my coaching journey in 2019. I mean, it started as a mission-driven business, right? And it's still a mission-driven business today. So I would say that it's probably very similar.
Yeah,
But back in the corporate world, I define success by having the big job, the big
yeah,
house, the
yeah,
big degree. I remember even when I got my when I started working for Ericsson many years ago, I remember giving my business card to a friend or something like that. It had,
right.
Richard Bowling, electrical engineer, Ericsson. I felt kind of like proud about that. But you know
Right.
what? That success was not, that was my father's definition. That was society's definition of success.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what happens is most people are living somebody else's definition of success. You have to find out what success is to you, and it's different for everybody. It's different for
yes,
everybody. You have to find out what your own definition. So entrepreneurship has been a canvas that allowed me to create my own definitions. So part of my definition of success now is freedom. I'm living in Asia. I've been living out of the country for 2 years. Having the freedom is actually more important than having a Maserati. I've owned 22 cars before, right? And
right.
I could care less now if I have a Maserati, or I don't even want a car. I want to walk, ride bicycle, and public transportation. I don't even care about cars. So that's not a part of my success. Part of my success is being able to. I live 2 blocks from the most beautiful ocean in the world,
Wow.
one of the
Okay.
most beautiful. And although it's been raining a lot this month, having that freedom to go to the beach, wake up, create my own schedule, work with clients that I enjoy, getting off from working client, saying that, wow, that was exciting, no stress, no corporate politics. So those are all things that are success for the freedom, creating your day,
Right.
as yeah. So those are really, really important parts of my success.
Okay. So with that, what would you consider to be a myth about success that as you come into your genius you had to debunk?
I think the biggest myth about success is that you are trying to create your success from society's definition of success. So
Right.
is the biggest myth that success means a degree, money, house, car, power, prestige, public recognition. That's what I would call the outer definition of success.
Right.
And the inner definition of success means authenticity, freedom, purpose, passion, adventure. So I think if you can look at success as being like the outer and the inner. So the outer is, money, power, prestige, degrees, title, position. The inner
Right.
part, success, authenticity, purpose, passion, freedom, love, adventure. And so what happens is, I would say fulfillment is when you take the outer success and the inner success and you put them together. So there are some people that are millionaires, that are executives, that are entrepreneurs even. They have the
Yes.
outer success, but they don't have the inner success. I have a program called Equilibrium. It's a
Okay.
coaching program called Equilibrium that is going to be enrolled in 2026. And it's for high net worth individuals that have the outer success, that don't have the inner success. So
That's
Equilibrium is about putting those two levels of success together, because that's really what
right.
that's really fulfillment, what you have, because you can have multimillionaires that are absolutely miserable if they don't
Yes.
have, if they don't have the inner success.
Absolutely.
You really need to have Tony Robbins. He coaches billionaires all the time. Billionaires are calling up him. They're sobbing, oh, I need you, because they're struggling. We
Yes.
don't, we say, oh, those are rich people problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're struggling with their own challenges. If you don't have the complete, so I think success has a complete picture if you have the outer and the inner
Right.
combined.
It's funny. I saw on that. I don't remember where I saw it, but this thing kind of stuck with me. It said, "Stop trying to live in the world and live in your world."
Yes, yes,
And I thought
yes,
that
yeah,
is, yeah,
and that goes along with my I think authenticity is the next level of success that most people are reaching. If you are really without any means of anything, the first level of success is maybe covering for your basic needs, right?
right.
But after you have, even happiness goes up to about $72,000 a year, and then it starts taping off. I
Yeah.
heard Cody Sanchez that said it used to be 72,000. Now it's a little bit more because of inflation. But she says after 500,000, after five
Yeah.
hundred thousand dollars, there's not too much more happiness that money is going to provide. This is Cody Sanchez.
Right.
She's a high level entrepreneur. She
I've
says
heard,
after,
heard that. Yeah.
she says after 500. So she says go for your first 500,000. Because after 500,000, you're not going to squeeze a lot more happiness out of the extra dollars. So really, then let's say that you got $500,000 a year coming in. The next level of success is really going to be authenticity.
Yes.
Are you really walking in your authentic? Because what happens is you can actually have, let's say you have $1 million,
Uh-huh.
but you really want to be doing something else. What you feel like you might lose your empire if you go off and do, you know, you buy an island with a 22-year-old beautiful model or something, or whatever that is, some crazy. You feel like
That's
people are gonna judge you for doing that. Or you could lose your empire if you do the thing that is really you. Maybe it could be coming out of the closet, right? It could be coming out of the closet, or whatever that is. Whatever that
right.
is, can you be your authentic self? And
Authenticity.
so
Yes.
authenticity, I think, is the next level of success.
That's
Once
awesome.
once your basic needs are met, once your
Gotcha.
basic needs are met, authenticity is the next level of success.
That's awesome. So, how do you balance your work, personal growth, and self-care?
Um,
How do you maintain that
well,
balance? It's just,
first of all, I don't believe in I think let's start with work-life balance. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So work-life balance is a concept that was developed by people who don't like their work. And usually people who have, a lot of people who have 9 to 5s. This is
Right.
my work. This is my life. I need to keep some separate. I gotta have work-life balance. I can't be, but I don't even think in terms of work-life balance, because I just enjoy whatever I do. When
Right.
I'm not working, when I'm going to the beach, I'm enjoying it. When I'm working
Right.
with clients, I enjoy that. There doesn't need to be any balance, because I'm just having fun whatever I do. So
Yes.
if you're enjoying whatever you're doing, then
Absolutely.
now I am committed, as I mentioned to you before we started this interview, is that I'm very committed to my fitness and wellness and things like that. So eating healthy, exercise, meditating every day, these are non-negotiables for me. It's my identity. It's just what I do, and it's a part of my overall well-being. My weirdest life personal challenge is probably my sleeping schedule, because I want to squeeze the juice out of every day and have so many ideas. that it's sometimes hard for me to get into the bed. So I
Yes.
do make up on my sleep, but the one challenge is I can sleep at some weird hours. But I do know that sleep is critically important, and you need to
Yes.
get your sleep in. But just when I do it, it can be at some strange hours.
I'm with you there. It's almost like you have to flip your brain off because as a creator, it is always creating.
My brain,
Yeah.
Elon talked about his brain is exploding with ideas.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning with $5 or $6 million ideas, and I write them down. I can't jump on these because I'm committed to the mission that I'm committed to right now. But I have major $1 million ideas that I want to do at some point. So yeah, my brain is always, especially now with AI, right? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to help AI because I've been able to. I'm a big thinker, not necessarily detail oriented, but I've been able to take my big ideas and have them broken down into like tasks, and it just
Mhm.
helps me to kind of move forward. And so, like any tool, if you use a tool in a proper way, you get the benefit out of it.
Oh
But
yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I use it. My mother had a legal situation, and I used ChatGPT and DeepSeek to come up with all the legal options for her, basically like providing legal advice. And from that, she got a lawyer, got the thing uh, thrown out of thrown out of court, and that she's free. So this was a great analysis. So this analysis that really helped her with her next steps
it's scary,
and,
man.
and thinking about.
People are becoming obsolete almost.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's everybody. Everything is every AI is disrupting everything.
everything. Yeah. Being in
Everything.
technology, we've displaced everyone else, and now we're displacing ourselves. So, what advice would you give to someone struggling trying to discover what their genius is?
I would say is and this is an exercise that I give the clients in the program is to create a life vision. Create a vision of what your life looks like 12 to 18 months from now,
Yes.
and picking the 10 areas of your life that you say are important to you: health, wealth, fitness, relationships, philosophy, impact. Pick 10 areas, and then write a half a page or page. Take some time, walk in the park, and just sit down and write. What does this area of my life look like if it were really going well? And really I need to update my life vision. I did it in 2022, and actually a lot of those things actually came to pass.
Right.
And so I think this is a starting point. So write out your vision of and then think about how can I now, what are the practical steps that I can take in this area of my life, and then this area of my life. But what happens is most people, they don't sit down and think about what it is that they really, 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 but they have a very kind of, it's funny and vague.
Yes.
If you say to somebody 10 years from now, what are you doing in these 10 years? They have no idea. They're like, I don't, they have like, it's vague. But if you crystal clear, write it out, on February the 15th of 2028, I want to be wearing red swimming trunks when I jump into the blue lagoon of the south of France.
Yeah.
Get very crystal clear about the things that you want to create in your life, in your personal life, and then then break that down into steps. How do I move? What is support that I need to move towards that? Do I need to read the books? Do I need to get some help? Do I need a coach? Do I need a mentor? Do I need to learn something? How do I start moving towards those? But first, you got to get. Most people, it's not even a fact. Most people don't even know what they want.
Right. Right.
Most people do not know what they want. And the reason why they don't know what they want, because they're not sure what's possible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so they don't set a goal. Even this happens in my business all the time. How much revenue are you making in your business 12 months from now? And they're not sure. I don't know what's possible. And here's I have an easy test to know if something is possible or not. There's a very easy test.
Yeah.
How you know something is possible: if you can imagine it, it's possible. If
Absolutely.
you can imagine it, it's possible. And most
Yes.
people, they try to get scientific. Well, is that if you can imagine it in the story, if you can imagine it, it's possible. Is
Yeah.
there such a thing? I mean, think about, we have light right now. Before we had a light bulb, was there anything like a light bulb? We had fire, right? But in terms
Yeah.
of electricity creating, but Thomas Edison, he had this vision. It never been done before. Never been
Exactly.
done before, right? And
Yeah.
he had 10,000 failed experiments on the way too. But he still felt, I feel it's possible. So
Yeah.
knowing that, that's all that you need to know about if something's is it possible that, a person could make $1 trillion? Is that possible? Well,
Is happening.
yes,
Yeah.
it's happening. As people say, that's impossible. So if you can imagine it, if you can't imagine it, then it's not possible. But if you can imagine it, that means, is it possible that I can quit my job? I'm a lawyer. I want to become a ballerina. Is that
Yeah.
possible? It's
Yeah.
possible. It's
And,
happened.
and 9 times out of 10, someone has already done it to
Yeah,
some degree, which kind of
to some
confirms
degree.
it's possible, right?
And if they haven't done it, if you think it's possible, I broke I broke the Guinness World Record for the longest table tennis rally, right? Do you know
Yeah, I
about this?
remember. Yeah. Yeah.
So we went for 10 hours and 9 minutes. And then from that, our record stood in the books for something like 20 years, a long, long time.
Oh
And
my
then somebody
God.
did 11 hours. And then last year, somebody went for 15 hours. And someone might say, well, it's impossible to go beyond 15 hours. Is it possible?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was like that mile
We,
run.
what's that?
Like that minute mile run where they thought you
Right.
couldn't do a mile in a
And
minute.
it,
Then the
and as
guy
soon
did
as somebody broke that barrier, then and the same thing with the marathon. The 2 hours was the limit point.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm inspired. I'm inspired when I love to see stories of like the woman who was 80 years old. She just completed the Ironman race at 80
Wow.
years old.
That's
The Ironman race, running, swimming,
yes.
biking.
Yeah.
80-year-old woman. Actually, there was an 89 man, that 89-year-old man that also completed the Ironman as well at 89.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. 89. I saw a woman yesterday, 105. She broke the track record in her whatever the closest age category to
Yeah.
her is. Yeah. And for sprinting, for 100
Yeah.
for a 100
Wow.
meter sprint.
Yes.
Now she's not doing it as fast as Usain Bolt,
Right.
but she's
She's
100, but she's running, and she's 105, 105-year-old track athlete.
moving. Man, I
That
saw where it said that biologically, we could, if we, I guess, live properly, could live up to 200 years old.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Johnson he believes that he won't die. He's got a whole movement called "Don't Die." Don't know if you know Brian Johnson. He spends $2 million a year on his body,
Oh, yeah, I
and
heard about it. Yes.
yeah, so he's actually he has all of his research on his website too. So there's actually a few other people that are in this direction. But yeah, I think with science, with exercise, also with the mindset too. The mindset is
Yes.
a big part of longevity. So that's, I teach longevity too on the side. I have a side hustle teaching longevity for men over 50, longevity and fitness for men over 50, but some of it is the mindset as well.
Man.
Um, so we have this belief that we're supposed to be falling apart when we get to, people that I'm going to be turning 60 on paper,
Right.
not in reality. I feel like I'm in my 40s, but on paper, I'm turning 60 in a few weeks. Um, but um, but that's not how I feel, because what happens is I've been lying to myself that I'm younger for so long that my body just started believing the lie. So
Absolutely.
so my knees, shoulders, ankles, hips, and all those things that should be falling apart. But I'm exercising every day too. But I
Right.
mean, exercising with the mindset together. If you do the activity plus the mindset together, then that's a
That's
really
good stuff.
powerful
Oh,
combination.
man. Well, Richard, thank you so much for taking the time out with us today and sharing your journey. So, your story is proof that genius is not reserved for the few.
Mm.
It's something we all possess once we recognize and nurture it. So, to our listeners, if this conversation inspired you, join the tribe at Melanated Rose, where we cultivate success through wellness, wealth, and wisdom. Visit the tribe, become part of the transformation movement today. And if you would like to share your genius or someone else that you know, nominate yourself as someone for the next interview. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Uh,